I have here $1,700, which I'm going to count. Hopefully I won't lose track this time. All right. So I'll explore the left-right paradigm, or the Jew-white paradigm, and those who openly push these philosophies and those who subtly push them, sellouts from every race. Also, I'll explore the Jewish and white conspiracy and the doctors that proved my point, at least some of them. And I'll explore if God's, if the Pope is really God's representative on earth. Does he really fulfill these requirements? Is he really showing us that's what he is? Okay, now first Revelation 6:15. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and every slave and every free man hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. They called to the mountains and the rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can stand?" All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. 11, 1, 2, 3, 4. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. 13, 1, 2, 3, 4. 14, 1, 2, 3, 4. 15, 1, 2, 3, 4. 16, 1, 2, 3, 4. 17, I must have skipped over 20. Anyways, about $1,700, okay? $1,700. They hid from the Lord. They hide from me. Okay, hiding from my challenge is even better than them accepting my challenge from a biblical perspective. So going on, I'm in a rush here, I have a lot to cover. Everything they are doing to me as an individual is what they are doing to society as a whole. They are just intensifying it, and all the lowly cowards who are doing it are in positions of social control. Law enforcement, mental health, intelligence agencies, government workers, political movements, gang members who wish to control their hood, and the racist underworld, etc. Stores and businesses who almost always promote white social norms and use coons and other bitches on TV to promote their goods and services. Universities who teach a whitewashed version of history, the military and government workers for obvious reasons. Civilians that are stupid enough to help them, and secret societies who have definitively proven are controlling every one of these groups for the most part. Usually their families are involved in this, so perhaps it makes it easier for them to justify breaking down your family. The methods they use are mind control, breaking down the family, divide and conquer, problem solution, population control / eugenics, intimidation, bribery, blackmail, sabotage, oppression, co-option, spearheading phony movements, covert drugging, misdirection, controlling crime, demonizing and stigmatizing opposition, controlling the money, and more. Okay, so Galton wrote Eugenics and the Jew. He was praised by the Jewish Chronicle toward the end of his life. He also was the guy who came up with the basis of the IQ test, the mental testing, which became the basis of the modern IQ test. And also he coined the term eugenics, Charles Darwin's cousin, Francis Galton. Also Hegel, Marx were, descended from Jews, and they came up with the Communist Manifesto and are credited with communism. Weishaupt was of Jewish descent, the Jesuit who founded the Illuminati. Also you have, whites and Jews, David Ewan Cameron, Franz Kallman, Signe Gottlieb, the MK Ultra guys, and Franz Kallman, the Jew who studied under Nazis. Project Paperclip proves my point as well. Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death, Sigmund Freud, Alfred Adler, Robert J. Lifton, the Jew who feeds into the Jew-white paradigm, who wrote the book Nazi Doctors, George Weinberg, who coined the term homophobia, and it's obvious how this proves my point very well. I believe a Jewish psychologist coined the term homophobia. I mean, talk about upholding white social norms. They helped create them in the first place. This is a list of notable Nazi medical doctors. Okay, when the Nazi government came to power, it purged Germany of its 6,000 to 7,000 Jewish doctors. Reportedly, more than 7% of all German physicians became members of the Nazi Party during World War II, a far higher percentage than the general population. In 1942, more than 38,000 German doctors, half the total number of doctors, had joined the Nazi Party. While most of the doctors were physicians, some were psychiatrists, and some held doctorates, PhDs, in biology, anthropology, and similarly related fields. Psychiatrists/doctors who were working for the state and not for their patients saw extermination of their patient as the correct solution to mental illness. The participation in the betrayal of Hippocrates had a broad basis within the German medical profession. Without the doctor's active help, the Holocaust could not have happened, wrote E. Ernest in the International Journal of Epidemiology. By the way, this is all from, this page is from Wikipedia, and so is the list I will read after it, and I've checked their sources. They are valid. Psychiatrist Ernst Rudin was the founder of the psychiatric genetics field and was also a founder of the German racial hygiene movement. So this genetic basis for mental disorders came from a Nazi, a psychiatrist named Ernst Rudin. This is pretty important if you understand my argument and reality. Killing and experimentation became medical procedures as they were performed by licensed doctors. The excuse that there wasn't any international law to differentiate between legal and illegal human experimentation was used in the doctor's trial. Due to the lack of international laws to govern doctors, the Nuremberg Code was created. Witch, gang stalking, and the government with MK Ultra, Project Monarch, the Phoenix Program, and so on have violated on record. After the war, the German Medical Association blamed Nazi atrocities on a small group of 350 criminal doctors. Doctors such as Werner Heide and Robert Ley, who was a chemist, changed their names after the war to avoid responsibility. Dr. Walter Schreiber, first used by the Soviets, was later taken into Operation Paperclip in 1951. After the Nuremberg Code, they basically ignored it. Now, because of time constraints, well, I could, and I don't speak German. Me not speaking German, I'm just going to show you a list. Hopefully you can see it. Do I have it right? Okay. Remove all this money, this pile of money, tons and tons of money. Okay, the plan is either I'll get the rest of the money from the bank before anyone accepts the challenge, or I will give them that money and I'll go to the bank with them to avoid being robbed. But anyway, this is the list, the first page of the list. Okay, and there obviously our doctors who aren't on this list for national security reasons and other reasons. Hopefully you can see this list. If not, it's on Wikipedia. I'll put the link in the comments. I'm just trying to give you an idea how many, doctors there were, psychiatrists, Dr. Death was Aribert Ferdinand Heim. Okay. He was known as Dr. Death. Okay. And remember, Joseph Mengele was the angel of death. These people dealt in death. Skull and Bones, dealing in death. The Bush Nazi connection, Bush Nazi Skull and Bones connection, Kerry Skull and Bones, Kerry Secretary of State in charge of intelligence agencies overseeing mind control programs and eugenics programs that kill people. On record. Here's the last page. Okay, since I have time, I actually went through this a lot quicker than I anticipated. So let me explore the idea of, and that's why I was talking a little bit fast. Watch it again up to this point. It's going to be the best stuff. I'm just going to explore the idea of God's representative on earth. Now, what would God's representative on earth do? Would he tell you to be complicit with Satan's commands? When you know you are contributing to a system that believes in Satanism and atheistic Satanism, the Luciferian doctrine, etc., that's being manipulated by a Jew-white paradigm, white people saying it's the Jews saying it's a bunch of Nazi sympathizers, and they basically are all Nazi sympathizers, Zion Nazis, feminazis, Nazis. Okay, what would a man of God do? well, he would go against these people. That would be his first priority. Anything you contribute to this system is akin to being in hell, contributing to that system. If you are a doctor in hell, are you a good person? If you serve the military in hell, are you a good person? If you are a police officer in hell, are you a good person? If you uphold the social norms of hell, are you a good person? I hear the little hacking going on. You notice that? I haven't been on the computer at all during this whole video. Now, now it went away. Anyway, if you sell the goods and services of hell, are you a good person? If you betray your family on behalf of those who uphold the system of hell, are you a good person? What would God's representative on earth be? What qualities would he have? He would be the major opposition figure, period. Okay? Major uncontrolled opposition, rather. Not, I hesitate to use the word figure. Figure isn't correct. He's the major uncontrolled opposition person or being. That's what I am. I'm the top martial artist because God chose me. Read Revelation 6:15. They are hiding because that is what they do. Don't be surprised when the demonic scum who do what they do what they do. They hid in caves before. They hide from the Spirit of God that I have manifested now. And in Revelations, in the end, they will hide in caves. Now, many of you will say, well, Revelations is just a metaphor. It's a story. Well, yes, it's a story, but this is, it's a, a vision, but this is real. This is truth. Evil hides from the light. Cowardly, evil scum who are too cowardly to believe in God and to do his will hide from righteous men who manifest the Spirit of God when they take a militant stance and call them out, pull their card, pull their dress above their head and say, see me with the fucking gloves, you ninnies. They hid from my challenge. They hid. And the person that didn't lost 10-0, unless you want to give them that cheap point. Either way, it's a massacre. A massacre. Keep in mind, in the no rules street fight, I would suspect every underhanded technique and I would fucking be prepared. Oh, really? Oh, fucking really? Thank you. Lamb, for the great day of their wrath has come, and who can stand? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2. I have here $1,700, which I'm going to count. Hopefully I won't lose track this time. All right. So I'll explore the left-right paradigm or the Jew-white paradigm and those who openly push these philosophies and those who subtly push them, sellouts from every race. Also, I will first Revelation 6:15. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and every slave and every free man hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. They called to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. 3, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3. Explore the Jewish and white conspiracy and the doctors that proved my point, at least some of them. And I'll explore if God's, if the Pope is really God's representative on earth. Does he really fulfill these requirements? Is he really showing us that's what he is? Okay, now